Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milasas, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milasas, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hi everybody, welcome to Joy of Business on OMTimes, and you're with Simone Milasas, your host. And I have one of my very, very favorite people on the show with me today, Megan Hill. Hey Megan, thanks for joining us.
Hey Simone, happy to be here.
And I mean, for me this is very exotic, but where are you right now?
I'm in Dominica, the nature island. So I'm on an island and connecting with you with, thank God I have good cell phone service.
Thank God this is not a Zoom, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Now you know what
Doing
it's like to
business
live
from everywhere.
You know what it's like to live in regional Australia. It's like
exactly.
Beautiful one day, perfect the next, and not very good internet. So I just had a Zoom and I had to go on a different access, like little dongle thing because it wasn't working out. But hey, it's beautiful. So today, Now I was having a conversation with Megan yesterday because I'm lucky enough that I get to work with her with Access Consciousness. And if you haven't checked it out, accessconsciousness.com, there you go, check it out while you're listening to us, is one of the things that we were talking about is how people create, and that they think, and I'm using the word deliberately, they think they have to create, X, Y, Z in order for it to equal the result that they also think that they want or they should have. Now, if that sounds confusing to you, you know what? It is, because that's how most of this reality creates. And what if it doesn't have to be like that? So we were like, we wanted to talk to you today, and I wanted to ask Megan some questions about creating something from nothing is the name that I came up with. Because basically, do you actually really have nothing anyway? And it's like, that's a judgment. And it's like, you have you. You woke up this morning, so you're doing pretty well. It's like one tick there. It's like, so you've got you. And it's like, what would you like to create? So Megan, tell us a bit of background about, that you have been working in the, advertising exec world, et cetera. And how many years did you do that? And what are the main things that you learned from that?
Yeah, I worked in advertising and marketing in the agency world for about 8 years. And what that means is that people paid me a lot of money to manage their entire advertising and marketing world. So I had budgets anywhere from, like $100,000 per year to $10 million per year, depending on, obviously the amount of money that they had and supposedly what they wanted to create. So I had the whole, I got exposed to and got to create with all different amounts of money. And when I was talking to you yesterday, what's been flooding in ever since is like, just because my budget was, say, $50,000, it didn't mean that I created less with $50,000 and that the $10 million budget account created more. Everything was actually like, what can you create with that, and what can you work with the client, and all sorts of different components that come into it. But it's very interesting because the amount of money didn't necessarily equal creation.
So one of the things that you said, which I'd like for you to expand on too, is, I love the difference of the 100K to 10 million. So basically, we give you the least amount of money to create the most. No, I'm just kidding. So
yeah, exactly. Basically.
But now we're on to the exec world. Okay, I got it. So you said supposedly what they wanted to create. Are you sort of saying that people don't know what they want to create, or what do you mean by that?
So in marketing, just in general, you're fighting for a budget. So you're saying, okay, I have decided that it takes X amount of dollars to create Y, whether that's sales or visitors or whatever, whatever your business is. If it's for access, it would be like people in classes or something, like whatever it is that makes you money, whatever would be the return on investment. They have this, formula. Each business has a formula eventually of what it takes for X plus Y equals Z. So then the marketing budget gets to fight for that and say, well, if you really want to, we'll take sales, for example. If you really want to have, say, 100 sales, we've determined that it's going to cost you X amount of dollars in advertising to deliver 100 sales. And they have this,
wow.
you know, they can prove this, basically.
Okay, so that hurts my head.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
And
yeah.
And I would say actually when I started, so 10 years ago or however long ago when I started, that was probably quite accurate and with the way the world was then. Now things like social media, so when I started, social media barely existed. Nobody, like just college kids were doing it. So social media has basically taken advertising, connecting, getting your business out there for free to heights that nobody could even, you know, comprehend. So before, you had to say pay for a listing, like the bottom line listing, like in the United States, you'd have to pay for a listing in a phone book so someone could actually find your phone number.
I remember that. Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
So you
I
pay for
that.
like a phone book listing. You pay for direct mail. You have to mail people physical things so that they could actually know that you were in the area. You would have to, you know, you pay for maybe a phone list to do phone calls. Then came email. So you're paying for how can I get an email list? Or you start building your email list and you pay for, you know, people to manage your email list. And then you have the advertising on top of that. If you want to go bigger, you do, you know, newspaper ads or magazine ads or TV ads or radio ads. And just literally in the last like 8 years, I would say most of the traditional advertising is really fighting to hang on. So you don't have to listen to, all consumers 8 years ago had to listen to the radio. Now you have on-demand radio. Most people are listening to their iPads. Like, you don't have to listen to radio anywhere. You don't have to watch TV anywhere. So you don't have to, as a consumer, you don't have to be exposed to any one medium. Therefore, nobody has a place where they can deliver their message, like pay to deliver their information.
It's interesting too as you
chaos.
talk about this because, yeah, it is chaos. And I have a process that I want to run throughout this show. And it's interesting as you talk about it because I could see that people could get like confused and perplexed and think, oh my God, I don't know which way to turn. And I mean, access consciousness is about following the energy. Access consciousness is tools and processes to change any area of your life that you think isn't working for you. And it's to create more awareness and more consciousness for you. And it's like, and for you to have way more fun and for you to be able to create whatever it is you desire. So I get with what you're talking about, which is chaos. And it's like now, and it's like if you actually function from your awareness, you would know where and when to have an article in a magazine, to, you know, have an article in, you know, online on a blog, to create a website, to do whatever. So can you talk a little bit more about that and any tools that you may have that could assist in that?
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it is, and why I love access consciousness is because it is a question. It's where should I be? Where could I be? Where will create the most? Is it local? Is it national? Like, would paying for this radio spot or paying for this magazine ad, will it create what I desire to create? Will it create anything? Will it create, like, how much will it create? Like, gauging sort of like, what is it you desire to create? So knowing what your target is, number one, is huge. Because I see so many people being like, oh, I just want to get my business out into the world. So I'm going to put an ad in in a magazine for my next class. Well, 90% of the people have never heard of you or what you're offering. Therefore, their likelihood of actually doing anything from that ad is pretty slim. However, you could start, you know what I mean? Like, you could start with all these different things. So bottom line, there is no one way to do it. It doesn't mean that because it's total chaos in advertising, that you should wipe away everything that's ever existed. But you have to really start looking at, okay, well, what would I like to create, and what can I choose among all of these different elements to add to my business or to add to my advertising budget or whatever you want to call it? What can I add to actually get where I would like to go?
Which is one of the things that we always talk about in, Joy business classes too. It's like, who or what else can you add to your business? And people get so freaked out about business thinking that they have to work it out and they have to have, all these things in place like we were talking about. They have to have, logos and they have to redo the logos and they have to have the website and they have to redo the website and they have to have flyers and it has to be the right color and it has to be. And it's like, where's the creation in that? And one of the things that we will talk about on this show today too is chaos and order, because the thing is chaos and order, what if they look completely different to what you think they look like? And it's like one of the things that has come up in Access lately is we've been looking at this, and order is the place where it's like you're trying to fit in, and it's like you're trying to get something right. It's like any place you're in judgment, any place you're creating a limitation or a conclusion. And it's like you order something into existence, it pretty much means that you will never change it. You can't change it because you've decided this is the right way. If you think anything is the right way, you've just ordered something into existence. You're ordering your business rather than actually allowing chaos, which chaos is asking questions, as Megan was saying. It's like ask as many questions as you possibly can, and that's not something that we're taught to do, is ask questions. You're meant to have the answer, which is, ordering something. It's like, whereas chaos, and it's like if you're asking questions, chaos is the miracles, it's the magic, it's consciousness, it's awareness, it's the choice, it's the infinite possibilities. And I was just doing a telesummit with somebody, with Emily Upper, and she was saying, okay, you got to help me out here because I have a judgment on chaos. And I was like, yeah, I know, I get it. And it's like, because most people do, they think chaos is like this chaotic world that you can never get anything done. But in truth, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the ability to create systems and put them into place so that you can allow chaos to reign upon you. So I have a process that, and we can talk more about it, I have a process I'm going to run before we go off to the next break. That happened very quickly. What have you made so vital, valuable, and real about the order of a conventional business that keeps you from the chaos that would create business that is always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities with every choice you make? And everything at that is times a Godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all names, shorts, boys and beyond. And if you don't know what I'm saying, it's the first time you've heard me and you're like, what did she just say? It's chaos. Guess what? The clearing statement in Access Consciousness is chaos. You can find out more about it on theclearingstatement.com. Dr. Dane here, co-founder of Access, gives a brilliant explanation of the clearing statement. But basically, you know what? It works. So we're going off to the next break, or the first break, I should say, and you'll be coming back when we're talking about creating something from nothing with Megan Hill. And you're on Access, you're on Joy Business at the moment, and check out accessjoybusiness.com in the break. And we'll see you real soon. Bye.
What if every moment of every day you had more choice, more tools, more allowance of you? What if joy was your priority? If this is the kind of life you would like to create, you can join Simone Milasas on the Adventure of Living series, a worldwide telecall where every month you can explore different topics using the Access Consciousness tools and processes to change any area of your life you think is not working for you. Business, money, parenting, bodies, relationships, the list goes on. And what if it did not have to? If your life was the adventure of living, what would you create it as? For more information and to sign up, go to accesstheadventureofliving.com.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on OMTimes Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're with Simone Milasas on Joy of Business, and I'm with Megan Hill, and we're talking about creating something from nothing. So, I wanted to ask you, one of the things you said in the last segment was, people think about putting, an advert in a magazine going, oh, I've got this next class or product or whatever it is, putting it in the magazine. And you said, but they don't even know who you are. And it's like, and I see people go, I need a logo, I need a business card, I need this. And it's like, so can you talk about the difference of that sort of, advertising, marketing compared to like the choice of, or the necessity of someone sort of figuring out who you are or how you go about that? Like, what does it create? What's the difference? What do you know, Megan?
Yeah.
Oh, Oracle.
I mean, I would say that, if you're starting out and it depends on the business, for example. So like if your business is not necessarily you, so say your business is like like a food item or like some sort of physical product, then maybe a logo would be required for somebody to identify you by some physical thing, like a logo. But if you are your business, so say you're a writer or you're a speaker, your business is you, then you can be your logo. You know what I mean? Like your photo, your things that you say, you don't necessarily need a fancy little, squiggly mark that necessarily says that you're you. And you can, but you don't need it to start. Bottom line is you don't need it to start. You can get you going and get you out in the world. And the biggest point of an entire like logo or branding thing is that people can identify you. So they'll say, oh, that, now like Simone, you've done a great use of the color red. So now when someone sees red, they often think of you and they think of Joy of Business. Do they think of your logo? They probably couldn't draw your logo. They know who you are. They know Joy of Business, but they probably, if you ask like your entire clientele for them to like draw your logo, without anything, they may not know, but they would probably be able to identify you as red, which is purely like this artistic creation that you've done a phenomenal job at. You wear red, like your team wears red sometimes, like you've infused red into a lot of things. So it's just this thing that people can then sort of like identify, oh, okay, that's Simone, that's Joy of Business, like that's what she does. And it's purely this, I don't even know if I'm answering your question, but that whole thing.
No, you are.
It's good. Okay, cool.
But the thing is, it's not about, I guess that, yes, we created that, but we never also created the Joy Business logo. I mean, I was telling someone the other day, it's funny, because I had someone who was creating something for me, and he goes, oh, do you want me to create a logo? And I was like, sure. And he just went, and did it like first go, and I went, oh, yeah, that's great. I mean, it's just J-O-B written over the top of each other, and he took the color of my lipstick in a photo and made that the color of the logo. And I was like, yeah, that'll work. And I was saying how you were talking about how, most advert agencies or people think that they have to go through, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 different series of looking at logos before they find the one that's going to work, the one that's going to be successful. Whereas it's not about that. It's like you may create that like we did, but that's definitely not what we use to market Joy Business. It's the energy of it. It's the tools of it. It's the change that people get is how I would sort of talk about it, which I think is what we're, here's the idea, creating something from nothing.
Well, and logos are this like old school traditional way of marketing. And so, if you're an old school designer listening to this, you're going to hate me. But at this point, at this point, like everything is changing so freaking fast. I mean, even like you take the social media icon of Facebook, and they change faster than probably anything else out there that I've seen, and they don't really care because their clientele isn't paying for anything. And they, if they were to change their logo, they would, I think they've changed it over time. And when they do this major change to sort of like what their system looks like, people freak out. But they're willing to sort of change. They change and mold. And so until you're you can create a logo, and that can work if you're like, you've got to look at like what you're actually creating. But like if you take just Joy Business, you have set the tone. You're using a similar thing that people will identify you with, and they're gonna, like, if you all of a sudden came out tomorrow and everything you were doing was like, green, it'd probably be okay. I don't think anyone would die, and I think that, and I think people would still want to do, like, take your classes, read your stuff, and do that because, again, you are your brand, not your logo. So it's this really weird thing where I think this is just total, like, my knowing. There's no scientific proof of this. But I think 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you had to invest in this look and brand because it was applying in all this, like, physical marketing, newspaper ads, like all sorts of physical stuff. And now because it's changing, everything's changing so fast, nobody really has a clue. Yes, you can drink a Coca-Cola and you know that it's a Coca-Cola and you like Coca-Cola, but if Coca-Cola totally changes their logo, you're pretty much probably still going to drink it because you know what it is. So anyway, so that's like the whole artistic side of it. And it's not to discount the beauty of it and the art of it. The art of it's gorgeous. And if you don't have the money to spend all of that time and invest all of that, then that's okay. And if that's something that you love, if you're like this artistic person and you want to create the most fabulous artistic representation of your business and who you are, frickin' go for it. And make sure you use it. Because so many people also will spend all this money and create a logo and do all this stuff, and they'll never use it. So the world never sees this fabulous artistic representation of who you are.
And the funny thing is, and it's like, look at Nike, it's a tick. And it's like Joy Business logo.
It's
like
simple.
if you log on to accessjoybusiness.com, it's JOB. It's over the top of each other. That's all it is. And it's red. It's a font. It's like, it's really not that complicated. So,
and it doesn't have to be.
One of the things I would like to ask you about, because we can have a little session here with me on the phone, on the radio show, is, because you said that the Joy Business, right, is, like I've created, etc. Now, what I've been looking at creating too is, because I'm rather busy and there's a lot of things I'd like to create in the world, and access consciousness is growing and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would like there to be more Joy Business facilitators out there into the world. So we've done 2 trainings so far, and I'm doing the 3rd next year actually in the US. So, but where's the line where because I would like, them to be the Joy Business face as well. Where's the line of having that as a reality and not having that as a reality, and how do you create that, or what would you suggest?
Well, I would say that the beauty of being a Joy Business facilitator, and trust me, if you're listening, she did not pay me to say this, but you have actually, you've put money into Joy Business, to what it looks like, to the brand, to all of that. So if somebody chooses to become a Joy Business facilitator, they have all of that. So they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They can if they want to. If you just want to take, if you want to take the classes and say that you're, certified to facilitate this, then you could go out and create your own little brand. But you could also use the red, use the Joy Business logo, and that'll create far more than, reinventing yourself every time. It's a very silly example, but I've used it. So you take McDonald's, the most, famous quote chain out there of fast food, and they're franchised. So it would, for someone to become a Joy Business facilitator and go through that and get to training and love what you do and love what you're basically offering, and to then go set up a shop on the corner and rebrand themselves would be like somebody getting the franchise of McDonald's and being like, I don't really want to tap into like what McDonald's has going on because I'd like to be my own hamburger shop. So I'm going to have your hamburgers, have your fries, but I'm going to do it my way. and we're going to have, you know, different colors and probably not the arc, and, you know, we're going to do our own thing. Well, guess what? Everyone knows what they're going to, like, they know of, they have the awareness of that brand and that logo, so they know it. So why wouldn't you use that to your advantage? Now, that's a hamburger shop, and that's not what you are, but it's a brilliant example of, like, how people can benefit from this, like, global, you know, bigger type branding and advertising.
So tapping into the energy of what already exists.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's run this process again. And if you don't, write it down, and I'm sure you didn't get it the first time, so here we go. What have you made so vital, valuable, and real? So it's all the places that you've made it so vital and so valuable and so real about the order of a conventional business that keeps you from the chaos that would create business that is always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities with every choice you make. And everything at that is time to Godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I will run it again if you didn't get it, so bear with me. But what I wanted to bring up was, it's like the way I see you talking about this too, Megan, is it's not recreating the wheel. So something already exists, use it, yet not making that the only viable option, not making it a necessity that you have to use that in order to create something. It's like I see that this is the chaos in creating what is already out there so that you don't have to, you know, recreate something entirely different and entirely, you know.
It's so funny because you could listen to this and say, well, you're just doing order because you're just doing exactly what's been done. No, you're just using what works. So use what works and add total chaos to that, you know, like take this stupid McDonald's example. Like, what if you could still use the fact that, okay, they've already got all the branding for me, and what could I do as my franchise to, like, totally stir it up? Like, you could do whatever that would actually create more, because the stuff that already needs to exist with, like, branding and all that stuff is there. So you could, like, get on the street and dance. You could offer free French fries. I don't know. Go crazy.
And we'll go off to the next break, and we'll be back really soon. More with Megan Hill on creating something from nothing. Don't go away, because we won't.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
What if your job, your life, and your business didn't have to look or feel like anyone else's around you? The Joy of Business tools and classes aren't about following a set path to success. They are a treasure box of questions, tools, and resources for you to expand what you already know about business and take the leap into more possibilities. Learn more about the Access Joy of Business 101 class by going to accessjoyofbusiness.com/101. What do you know that could change your business and the world? accessjoyofbusiness.com/101.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're with Megan Hill on creating something from nothing, and we're on Joy Business, and we've got lots of mind-blowing tools here. So Megan, something I wanted to sort of start to go over again too is creating something from nothing, literally. Like one of the things as we mentioned right at the beginning, I do find people saying is, we need a new logo, we need. And it's like, what are some of the basic pragmatic tools that people can do just to literally start?
Well, start looking at what it is you have. So if you can't see that, then invite, somebody that you know or somebody that likes what you do, who is encouraged by like whatever it is you're offering, to start looking at what it is you have. Because I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to, whether it's authors or speakers, and they think that they have nothing. I was talking with a lady the other day, and she thought she had nothing to offer. She was facilitating classes, and she didn't think she had any special niche market. And she happened to have this phenomenal story about getting burnout at work and then going back to work and using the Access tools in her job, but she didn't know how she was going to sell, like what she wanted to do, like selling her classes or her coaching. And I was like, did you realize that you have like one of the largest companies in the country that you live in, where you could actually tap into the fact that there's all these people who are retiring, who have experienced burnout, who would like to create a different life, a different, business when they retire. So oftentimes there's so much that you have available that you've never considered, and you just need somebody to sort of either look at it with you and ask some questions, or start looking at it yourself. Like, what is it? Who do you know? What is it you have to offer? How are you different? What stories do you have that could actually change the world? Because so often your story isn't something that you think anybody else would be inspired by, and yet it's often the thing that'll make you the most money.
So what can we say to people, or what can we offer to people who think that they've got to get the new logo, that they think that they've got to get the fresh new flyers, etc., to create their class?
I would ask, is it, number one, if you've done it in the past, has it worked?
Yeah.
And is it actually, I mean, again, I told you I shouldn't be saying any of this because this is like what I do. And it's not necessarily required. Like sometimes it is required, but it's not. So this is the question I wanted to actually ask you. You started with Access when it was, hardly anywhere. What was that like for you, starting from nothing? What did you get flyers going? How much money did you spend in advertising? Like, what is it that you looked at? I mean, I remember you started an email account.
Yeah, let's give a bit of background. So when I first came along to Access, they didn't have anything set up. And I actually met a facilitator at a Mind, Body and Spirit festival in Australia. And I ended up going to an intro night, which he didn't have a flyer or anything. He just said, hey, here's the intro night. And I think he wrote down the address on a piece of paper for me. Like it wasn't some beautiful, pretty flyer that was, And then I went to it, and then I was sort of like, what the hell is going on? Like I had no idea what the guy was talking about, yet I know the next day I woke up and things had changed. So then he told me, so he phoned me. He didn't send me a flyer. He phoned me and asked how I was going, and then told me when Gary was coming out. So, of course, I wanted to go to one of Gary's classes, and it was actually called Out of the Box. It was one of the first classes it was the first class I ever went to with Gary, which I know we've got an Out of the Box class with Gary Douglas, founder of Access, coming up in San Diego next February, which is pretty exciting because I was so grateful. I sat in the class and I was like, oh, my goodness, this guy's talking about a planet with no judgment, like a world with no judgment, everything I desired but didn't know how to create. Just wanted to yell at people. that wasn't really a good way to change people. So, but anyway, I was like, this is awesome. And I remember thinking, I want to do more. And it was around Christmas time. And I said to the facilitator too, I said, hey, I want to do more of this. What do I need to do? And he said, oh, it's Christmas. He said, nobody will come. And I was like, what do you mean no one will come? And I was like, I couldn't think of anything better to do than doing an Access class during Christmas. So I looked at him and I was like, well, how many people do you need? And he goes, 4. And I was like, great, done. And I scheduled it between Christmas and New Year. And I got 4 people, and we did at that stage, bars classes in foundation class. So we did bars foundation, and they had level 1 at that stage too. And I was just so grateful and so amazed, and my whole life was changing. And I was also surprised that not everybody else wanted to come. I was just like, oh my God, this stuff is awesome. And then, of course, I started organizing. Gary was coming out to do one of the more advanced classes. And I was like, well, I can help find a venue and I can do this and I can do that. And I ended up organizing everything anyway. But one of the things was I was like, well, how do you tell people about the class? Do you have an email or do you have a database or what happens? And the guy goes, oh, no, word just gets around. And I was like, what do you mean word gets around? And I was like, do you have everyone's phone numbers? Like, how does this work? And he was like, no, we just, and I was like, this is insane. And the two things that I demanded, because I really loved access. Like I was very busy, and my point of view was I was so busy with my own businesses, I didn't have time to do this anyway. And I could see the value of it. I was just like, holy, like SHIT, this stuff is everything that I've been asking for. So the first thing I did was I was like, okay, well, what if I started something? So I started a Hotmail email. Remember when Hotmail was around?
Yeah.
And the funny thing was I started Hotmail because I also wanted someone to be able to take over. I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to have it to always be falling upon me. So I thought anyone can access it. And I started gathering people's names and their emails and so that we could send a reminder. And literally it was just like, hey, did you know Gary's coming? He'll be here from, I don't know, the 4th to the 8th of this month. Call me if you want any more information. There wasn't huge graphics. There wasn't, color. There wasn't a logo. There wasn't, a photo of Gary, a photo of me or anything. It was just a couple of lines of like, hey, this is on. And then I did start to call people, and I will say that calling people is what, gets things around. But the two things I demanded was that every single person in the whole entire world should know that access consciousness exists so that they can choose it. Not that they had to choose it, but so that they could choose it. And the second thing I demanded, that they could. Because I know I was going crazy trying to find something like this. And then when I was like, oh my God, thank God this exists on the planet, now I can actually live instead of destroy myself. So, and the second thing was that everyone who ever knew that there was a class on knew when the next one was on, so that, you could invite them along. So we even started up a website, and an interesting thing was, I don't know if we want to admit this now, but it's actually the website that we currently have up online now. That if you picture a brick, okay, and on top of the brick we've built a house, and then we've built a mansion, and we've built a castle. So we are launching our new website in, I think, 1st of January, which is going to be amazing and it's going to make all of our lives way easier. But the website that we have now is literally the first one that I ever created with someone, and we created it for facilitators so that they could advertise their classes as well, because I was like, nobody even knows if anything's on. How do people do this, But we did get around by word of mouth, and Access Consciousness was in, I think, 4 countries at that time. So, and it did get around based on that. So the one thing I would say is that if people are seeking what you have too, they can find it. And what if you also made it easier for them to find you? So,
that is so exactly what I see. The point of it all is literally like all of advertising and marketing is like, for number one, for everyone in the world to know that you exist and for people to be able to find you. So is that a logo? Maybe, maybe not. But what is it that you actually need to create so that people can find you, and that when they do, if they do, they know how to actually get a hold of you, take a class, buy your product, make it easy for them to find you and to either contact you or buy something from you or get whatever you're offering. And if they can't do that, then the whole thing is screwed. It's like like that's what I think is everyone misses. It is actually that simple. How do people find you, and how do they actually get what they desire from you? Whether that, now that's expanded into so many things. That could be a book or a online course or a telecall or, or whatever it is, a car, whatever the product is. But how do they, if your product is something that you desire everyone in the world to know that's available, then how do you actually start doing that? And it could be as simple as finding somebody like Simone in Australia to talk it up and get these systems going. It doesn't mean that you have to have the logo and the marketing and all of that before you get out there. Just get out there.
No, and we've got, even on the 2nd of October here in Australia, we've got, Lauren Marie, who we work with as well. we were like, let's host a luncheon and get social. So we're hosting a luncheon at this restaurant that I love, and I think we're going to be have quite a few people there. And I spoke to the owner, and she loves us. She's like, I'd do anything for access consciousness. So she's like, I'll block out whatever you want. I'm like, great. So she is. But I think there's going to be quite a few people, and it's literally a Sunday lunch, and, you know, it's a set menu, and buy your own wine, beer, whatever you want. And it's like, get social. It's like, start chatting to people, and they'll get interested, because it's also who you be. It's like, what can you create, and what energy can you be that would allow everyone to know that your business is out there and exists. And that's the chaos of creation as well. And another thing I wanted to add too, you were talking about flyers, etc. Now, recently we just had a Brendan, my partner and I are doing the 5 days of change down in Sydney, Australia, and it just felt really strange. And we were like, okay, we started asking some questions, and as soon as we spoke about moving it to Queensland, it just had this life, like this, you know, life force of its own. It was like throbbing. And then, so we were like, oh great, let's get a flyer done. And because Gary Douglas had a class out here, and we could put, you know, a flyer on all the tables. And then we changed the date slightly, because we wanted to have it at this river house in Noosa, and, you know, we found that that'd be more fun. So then Lauren's like, oh no, we're going to change the flyer again. But I was like, yeah, we're going to change the flyer again. Okay. And that's chaos. And it's like, that's creating your business with something that's always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities. Now, does that mean we have to go and print and do the graphics and everything, you know, different and print it again? Sure, we can do that. But it's like, but what it created was an energy. And that's what you want to look for. It's like, what energy is it creating? That flyer on all of the tables. And we made a joke of it. It's like, okay, so we changed the date. You know, we got it done yesterday, and we've already changed it again. And it's like, the willingness to change is chaos.
And if you're going to do a flyer, then do something that does create chaos. Like, you know, the brilliance and the fact that the flyer actually created chaos is just people were like, when is it? I don't know. They can't figure it out. Then they're all confused. Well, guess what? You actually have their attention then. So use it. And then also
getting
with
people's
a flyer
attention.
You want, you know, this whole getting people to talk, getting them social, create something. If you're going to actually spend money on a flyer or promotional material, create something that gets people talking, that gets their attention.
And we're off to the next break. And we'll be back real soon. leaving Megan on a cliffhanger. Or the break should be coming. Can we hear it? There we go, the music. So on a cliffhanger, come back. We've got one more segment with Megan Hill on creating something from nothing. See you soon.
What if there were an easy way to let go of all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that keep you stuck in your head without any effort? Join the founder of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, and co-creator, Dr. Dane here, for a one-of-a-kind global class to learn the bars, a process that effortlessly and easily releases the electromagnetic charge of what holds the thoughts, feelings, and emotions in your body. Participate live in Houston, Texas, or via livestream on October 7th. Access Bars have helped tens of thousands of people change many aspects of their life. Are you ready for a brain reset? Visit globalbars.com.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And You're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
This has gone fast, Miss Megan Hill. And you're on OMTimes with Joy Business and Simone Milasas. So, and we did leave on a bit of a cliffhanger because I love it when you start to get going on the information you have, because you are a plethora of information on so many topics, and especially in regards to this. So what else did you want to say there, Megan?
I don't even know. I started Skyping you because I had all these ideas. Like, we're listening to these commercials and everyone is doing the same exact order of how to do a commercial of blah, 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 and you can go to blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God, what if we just we have 30 seconds of airtime to do whatever we want. What would we choose? We could sing. We could just, say the same word over and over again. Like, what would we do to get people's attention in that 30-second spot? So that was what I was thinking on the break.
I like that. Okay, so you got 30 seconds, and it's like, what do you think you should create? Like,
yeah, not what you have to do. Yeah, you have 30 seconds of airtime. We all think that it has to be this ordered selection of words to get, yes, eventually you should tell them what website to go to or where to go, but how do you get someone to, not go into, oh, great, it's just another commercial. I'm just going to, you're just hearing it. You're just hearing words because it's the order of communication.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I've got some ideas. I'm not going to let them out
Me
yet.
Too.
I'm going to record them.
Exactly.
Nice.
That would be
let's
total
run this
chaos.
Exactly. Let's run this clearing again too. So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about the order of a conventional business that keeps you from the chaos that would create business that is always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities with every choice you make? And everything at that is times a gazillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all night, shorts, boys and beyond. Okay, one more time. What have you made so vital, valuable, and real about the order of a conventional business that keeps you from the chaos that would create business that is always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities with every choice you make? And everything at that is times a gazillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. So how many of you are trying to create that conventional business by getting it right, by doing industry standard, by trying to fit in? Rather than, what Megan was referring to before too, like the hamburger shop. And it's like, if you're going to get a franchise at McDonald's, you're not going to change the logo. You're going to use it to your advantage. It's like, how can you use this reality to your advantage, but create beyond it? And it's like, and have fun with the creating beyond it, because this reality is order. Beyond this reality is chaos. Your imagination is order. Beyond your imagination is chaos. It's like in all the judgments that you have about what chaos is, where you destroy and uncreate that, times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond, and start to find out what chaos is. Ask, how much chaos would I have to instill in my business today to create a different possibility, to create a greater possibility? And everything at that is times a gazillion, destroy and uncreate it. All right, and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. Like, start to, it's like, I want to say live. And it's like, start living what you're talking about. Walk your talk, and it's like, you've got a great product, you've got a great service, you've got some great tools like access consciousness, that's what we've been referring to. And it's like, oh my goodness, there are so many tools and access that can change any area of your life. It's like, but it's not about being serious and significant. It's like having fun with it. So if you instilled chaos into your business, so even if you just do it right now, it's like wherever you are, if you're driving, don't shut your eyes, but it's like instill chaos into your business. And more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And it's like what shows up. And it's like I always start to perceive like the molecules of my body and being and the business starting to sort of go together. It's like I'm acting it out, but I'm on radio, so you can't see it. So it's like clanging together. And it's like, so all the molecules of your business. And what happens is you start to get out of your own way. It's like you're going to be out of control, and you start to allow the possibilities to show up from everywhere, not just where you think they have to come. It's like from absolutely everywhere.
And you know, that like, you know, we're talking marketing, we're talking creating from nothing. And I've had so many conversations with, I'm grateful that I've had the experience that I've had, the knowledge that I have of the whole industry. And yet I hate the industry standards. I hate conventional standards. Like, it's so boring to me to create that way. And yet I so get that if you don't have that as a place that you've ever played, then you look to, like, you've decided that you don't know and that somebody else knows more than you, so you look to get it right. And I would say marketing and creation and all of that is one place that total chaos is absolutely something that creates greater than anything else. Because in advertising, if you look at the things that get your attention, they're functioning from chaos. They're doing the things that's never been done before to get your attention.
There's this, go for it.
Well, it's that word conventional and that clearing statement is beautiful because it's, you know, if you're looking for, okay, what's the conventional way to get a business out with marketing? Oh, then you have to do logo. You have to do these steps. And that's how you get it right to get this result. What if you actually were looking at what would it take to just be seen, be found, and to get somebody to actually choose something more? And time doesn't come into play. You know what I mean? Like, it may mean they choose you now or 25 years from now. You have no idea. But if you get their attention, I guarantee you'll probably keep their attention long, like with a question or put that curiosity in motion. They'll think of you. And it may be tomorrow and it may be 6 years from now, but they actually are like, wait a minute, what about that thing I saw that one time? How do I find that? And then they'll go looking for you again.
I love that. And it's like, you know, if you have a sense of humor, put the sense of humor in it. Like I just sent you, Megan, on Skype, and I'll tell the listeners out here, there's this wine company in Australia, which I love their website. It's called Vino Mofo. And their line on there is, welcome to the most epic tribe of wine-loving mofos on the planet. Now, the thing I love, if you scroll down, right, the first page is epic deals are just the beginning. And it gives you, and the whole time you can start buying, you can join their Facebook group, all of that, right? And you keep going down and they've got, you know, different quotes and things like that and different pictures of some great stuff. And then as you keep going further and further down, it says, seriously, this is the best wine site on the planet. Just ask Al, you know, and it gives you the amount of people who are looking at it. And then it's like the Mofo experience is your happy place. And then keep going down and it goes still scrolling and it has a question mark. Yeah. Come on, what's it going to take to convince you? An inspirational photo? And the next thing is this guy looking over this landscape. You know, he looks like he's hiking or something, or he's actually drinking some wine out there, and it says, together we can make the world a better place, one epic deal at a time. So they've done, you know, they've given you the inspirational photo. They've made a joke of it. And then they've even got the just do it, you know, with this guy running and stuff. Like, it's awesome. I love it. So, but it's humorous. You want to join it.
Yeah, you want to join, you want to do it once, and then if the product actually delivers, you'll keep doing it because it's the fun and it's actually, you know, you get what you're looking for. Which
and I mean, I don't know if you're scrolling down now, Megan, down the bottom it says, oh man, don't make me beg, and there's this picture of a cute dog. So it's like, but it's so good. I love it. And it's like, and I actually became members of them because of their website. I thought it was hilarious. And they do have good deals on, so it works. Yeah. Yeah,
and that's truly all that's the magic of it all in motion, I would say. And it can be, you know, it's not exactly the easiest thing to nail that humor all the time. But if you get it, you know, if you get it like that and be willing to change it. I wonder what they started with. You know, I wonder how many, you know, little changes they've made over time as well. Websites can change every single day. You could change your website 15 times a day if you want to and see what works.
You know what? I reckon they sat around drinking wine and created it.
I'm sure they did, because all great things come out of drinking wine, I would say.
Exactly. So we've got a couple more minutes left here. I'm going to run this process again to see if we can get everyone out of conventional business. My hopes and dreams. So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about the order of a conventional business that keeps you from the chaos that would create business that is always expanding, never contractive, and always creating greater possibilities with every choice you make? And everything at that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all names, shorts, boys and beyond. And hey, I do want to add, if you've been listening to anyone talk about access consciousness, whether you've heard, me or somebody else, or, listen to Gary and Dane on the radio as well, they are doing, for once ever, like I've worked with them for 15 years, they're actually doing a bars class, co-facilitated on the 7th of October, plus followed by 4 days of a foundation class facilitated by both of them in Houston, Texas. You can also jump on live stream. So you can go to accessconsciousness.com and find Gary Douglas or Dr. Dane here and find that class before we go on a break. I highly recommend you coming along. And we have nicknamed it Unleash the Chaos, because it is going to be everything that you've ever desired to change in your life. You can change it, okay? This is it. I'm telling you.
And
come.
And if you're trying to create your business, if you can't even understand what we're saying, and you're like, how would I not create conventionally? Then getting your bars run, coming to this class, it actually opens your mind beyond anything that you can imagine. Like, it takes the filters off, it takes the chains off, and you become like this. For me personally, I've become this creator superhouse that I always knew that I was, but I never had the freedom to be. So,
and for me personally, the thing that got to me was no judgment. And it's a continuous demand that I make of myself not to judge anything that I've done or been. And it's like not to create my future based on the past, but to create it from question and for what's available, and to know that I can always ask for more. So Megan, we're done. This was so quick. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you for having me. I always love talking to you. Creating.
Thanks, Megan.